Hey everybody, welcome to another video review by cigarfellas.com. I'm Brent, and today we are going to be reviewing the Aging Room m356. I actually contacted them and asked them if I could review this cigar because I've seen so much hype on this cigar itself, and I decided that it's like that old Public Enemy song, don't believe the hype, and I just wanted to experience it for myself. There's so many people talking about it. It was out there, and I wanted to give the Cigar Fellas' opinion on this cigar. So they were actually generous enough to actually send me 3 of them. I gave one to Loki. I smoked one the other night, and then I decided that the last one I would do my video review on. All in all, the construction on this is very nice. The cap is very well placed. A little bit of vein, nothing that I would worry about causing like a bad run or something like that. And the smell from this is, clean woods. Don't ask me how I came up with that, but that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of being in the woods, which I love being in the outdoors and in the woods, and it's like what I envision the woods smelling like if they were clean. So once again, I don't know where that came from, but that's what I get from it. It's very pleasant. Very pleasant. I don't think anybody out there, if you were to try this, that you would say, oh my gosh, that smells horrible. Not at all. It's very inviting, very warm. I love that in a cigar. I love a cigar that makes me feel like hey, smoke me. I'm going to take good care of you. Don't worry about it. And that's exactly what I get from this cigar. So I guess if I was to say the hype just from smelling it, yeah. I can believe that. I am going to cut this again today with my Cigar scissors. I am going to use a soft flame lighter, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this thing all ready to go, and I'll be back with my first part of my third. Right? All right, so here we are. Not quite a third, a little less than a third on my Aging Room m356. It started out really super peppery, like smack me in the face peppery, and not in a bad way. Some people like pepper, some people don't. I will say that it is definitely more towards the medium side for me, but it started out more towards the full side of the pepper flavor. Now it's actually lightened up a little bit. I am sitting outside, so I try not to be too harsh on burn when I'm outside, just because I know the wind affects burn rings and stuff like that. But all in all, nice burn. Whoops, there goes my ash. That wasn't good. Either way, got my ash back. I'm getting more I'm getting a lighter pepper now, more of a I don't want to say white pepper, just want to say light notes of pepper. Still a very medium body. I can definitely feel the medium in my mouth, in my retrohale. Pepper, not as heavy. It actually smoothed out very nicely. The transition was very gradual. I did like this, like I said, with the soft flame lighter. I did toast the foot. Lighting probably only took about 40 seconds total. Retrohale for me is really pleasant. I wouldn't say I don't believe the hype. I would certainly say that the hype is appropriate. I think that this cigar is definitely well crafted. My hat's off to the blenders. I find that this cigar is definitely something that I feel that most people with even very limited smoking experience would enjoy. And that's usually not something that I say about a cigar that starts out real peppery. But, you know, another thing I always like to tell people is never judge a cigar. And I was actually told this once. Never judge a cigar until you've smoked the first inch. Because everything happens after that first inch. You know, there are certain cigars that pretty much stay the same, but the majority of cigars, after that first inch, that's when the flavor change happens. That's when you start to pick up more of the flavor, not just that initial blast of whatever it may be. Last night I was smoking a Candela, and you know, that initial blast wasn't pepper, it was sweet. It was you know, really intriguing. But the aging room is really actually quite nice. I'm going to try to get my hand on some of the 6.5 by 60s and see, you know, if there's a difference. I did smoke the smaller of the Vitola now, but man, that's really a great cigar. I did just eat dinner before I came out here and did this review, so I do have a full stomach, which I always recommend to people anyway. You know, there's some people that say, oh, I only do that for Maduros or whatever, but you know, it's never a bad idea when you're smoking a cigar, especially, you know, if you're really heavy into either inhaling or retrohaling, which I never inhale. I only retrohale. But, yeah, I mean, this is definitely a yummy stick. Retrohale is just so smooth. The flavor that comes out when it's going through my nose is very, very tantalizing, I guess is a good word. It just sets off like all the receptors in my nose. I can start to taste it more in the back of my throat, and I get the nice sweet. It is actually turning like a sweet spice. It's very, very intriguing. Great cigar so far, but let me smoke a little bit more of this, and we'll come back with some, you know, some more thoughts. Hey everybody, welcome back. About little less than halfway through this aging room, and I definitely understand the hype. This is an excellent stick. I am getting just blown away by the explosion of flavors. You know, there's a lot of cigars out there, and you know, and you probably even have noticed that, you know, I talk a lot about grass, and I talk a lot about spice and sweet, and I do that intentionally. I do that because there's different levels of those. There's different levels of grass flavor for me. There's different levels of spice flavor for me. There's different levels of sweetness. But with my reviews, I try to keep them as simple as possible. You know, I really don't want people to become confused by a lot of unnecessary flavors that maybe I experience. It's one thing that used to throw me off when I started out smoking, and I was paying attention to what other reviewers were saying. But the notes in this, if this is going to make any sense, are subtle, but yet full. It's like there's a lot of flavor there, but all of the flavors are very smooth and enjoyable. Nothing at all is harsh on this cigar. Nothing. I am just blown away by the aroma that I get from this, the comfort. I always try to think about, you know, like comfort foods, you know, like my comfort food. chocolate cake. That's a comfort food for me. My wife loves to make cupcakes, and whenever she makes them, those are comfort foods for me. You know, I love them. She makes such wonderful cupcakes, and that's how I feel about the cigar. It's one of those cigars that's very comforting and warm, and just makes me glad that I can sit here and do these reviews and smoke these cigars and enjoy them as much as I do, and explain to you what I feel. Just an excellent cigar. The grass is so intertwined with the sweet, the pepper, the almost leathery. You know, I guess that's really what people mean when they say leather. It's like sitting in your favorite chair. It's that feeling that you get. It's that knowing that you're where you want to be and where you belong. And that's exactly what I'm getting from this cigar. Is I know where I want to be right now, and where I want to be is with another one of these. And unfortunately, it's the last one that I have. Just a great stick. It held together really well. At one point, I did scooch the band down a little bit, and it caught the wrapper, and it just kind of peeled up the edge of the wrapper a little bit. I'm past that now, so I don't count that against the cigar. But I did take the band off. I generally have a tendency to do that once I start getting down here, because I don't want to get the band all wet in my mouth, and obviously I don't want it on fire. Lots of smoke. Really leaves a great flavor in my mouth. I get lots of sweet grasses in my mouth, and for me, that's just like, man, that's like A-grade cigar for me. That's really what I tend to enjoy. It's not overwhelming to the point where, like, I've had some that were so rich and so creamy that even though they're good, they're almost like a little too much. You know, nothing against Davidoff, because I love Davidoff cigars as well. For me, it's like if I smoke one of those and then I smoke another one right after it, it's just too much. It becomes kind of a hindrance. But with this, it's like that perfect level. I wish there was more cigars that had this exact style of complexity. And I really can't say enough. I mean, it's gonna turn into, it'll make my top 25 this year for sure. It may even make my top 10, which is very possible. Still the same, just lots of smooth. The aroma is just, it's not like I've had cigars where the aroma, the smoke coming off them, and I don't know if you can see it, but the smoke's actually come right into my face, where you get a lot of like campfire, and it's almost a little too much, and it's hard. You almost want to cough a little bit. Man, not with this. I can breathe this in no problem, and it is still just smooth, and even the aroma gives me the same feeling of that citrus, that grass, that wonderful enjoyment. And you'll definitely see me trying to smoke more of these and doing more reviews on these as well. Like I said, I really kind of want to try the 6.5 by 60. I do like bigger ring gauges, and I'd like to see what the difference is. So I'll have to be back in contact with them and see if they're interested in letting me review one of their bigger gauges. But all in all, the aging room M356, it is a small batch, but excellent cigar. Absolutely, my hat's off. Until next time, I'm Brent. It's been another video by cigarfellas.com. Check us out on the web, as well as check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/cigarfellas, and follow us on Twitter. I try to tweet quite a bit. It's @cigarfellas, and have a good one, you guys.